everyone, welcome to the Waterstones vlog. It is Will here. I have a slightly different background to me this week because I am at home in self-isolation due to the coronavirus pandemic now. But that's not going to stop me talking about books. Hell no. And in fact, the book I want to talk to you about this week is a book that came to mind when I saw that the writer Matt Haig on Twitter found it interesting that the flu epidemic that went around the world in 1918 wasn't really mentioned or referred to in the works of writers who were coming after that time, like Ernest Hemingway and F. Scott Fitzgerald and people like that. And I realised that I had read a book by an author which did make very strong mention of it. And in fact, it was a writer whose work I've been introduced to and had loved and have championed ever since because I think he's a fantastic writer. And this book is fantastic too. The book is called They Came Like Swallows, and the writer is William Maxwell. Now, William Maxwell was an editor at the New Yorker and helped shape the prose of people like Eudora Welty and Vladimir Nabokov, people like that. He, whilst doing that, of course, also wrote his own novels. And whilst he hasn't got as much attention for those as some of the writers who he helped to edit, I think they are almost all of them brilliant. In different ways, and some of them really genuinely brilliant. And this one I think is really, really strong because it is based on his own life, in the fact that his mother did succumb to the Spanish flu in the wake of the First World War. And this book looks at a normal sort of American family and is narrated by the three men, if you like, who surround this mother figure. Two young boys and the husband. And I just want to read a little bit from the inside of the jacket. The blurb begins, "Here is an altogether lovely book." You don't get book blurbs like that anymore, do you? Because this is the 1937 first edition of this book. It has the quality of long-remembered music played of summer evenings with windows opened and wind in the leaves. This is just a book blurb. I mean, come on. And what I like is this description of what the book is like. It's fashioned in the shape of a triple mirror, with the central figure, Elizabeth Morrison, seen through the eyes of three who were closest to her. And it begins with her youngest son, Bunny, then it moves on to his elder brother, and then to the husband. And I'm not going to say anything about what happens in this book, except to say that obviously shaped as it is by William Maxwell's own life, but also his skills as a writer and an editor, he manages to fill this book with the kind of absolutely perfectly observed details that make reading it just a completely satisfying and enriching experience. What he's describing is normal family life, but is completely gripping. And you will genuinely, I think, finish this book moved by it. I think it's almost impossible not to be. And as I say, if you enjoy reading this book, it will then take you on to some of his other books. And I have... These are my old Harvel Secker editions here, which I had great fun reading through. One of them is one of my favourite books of all time. So this is So Long, See You Tomorrow, which was the last novel that he wrote and sort of weirdly almost takes you back to where he began writing. It is, as you can see, incredibly slim. It is one of the most perfect books I've ever read. There are things in it which shouldn't work but which do. And it is written by a man who has very much reached the full maturity as a writer. And I know that big fans of it include Kit Duvall and Donald Hart. I mean, it's just a fantastic book. So please, if like me, you will hold up and think as time goes on, more and more of us will be, this is now obviously a great time to be going through your TBR pile or reading the work of writers who you've always wanted to, or tackling those big classics. It's a great time, I think, to be reading full stop. But if you've never heard of William Maxwell, he's an author that I would like to give to you as a gift at this time because he is just a fantastic writer. And whilst They Came Like Swallows is obviously dealing with something which might be a little too close to some people's hearts at the moment, give it time and you may come to it, when you feel more happy to do so. But it's a fantastic book and he's a fantastic writer. So there we go. That's my first home vlog. I don't know whether there'll be more. We'll see. But I just wanted to speak to you this week. And obviously, a huge shout out to all of the Waterstones booksellers who are continuing to work really, really hard at the moment, working in shops, keeping them open, helping to keep people in books. And of course, Waterstones.com, the website, or the app are still ways in which you can get books, still delivering books at the moment to people. And I think over the next few weeks and possibly months, reading, talking about reading, supporting each other is going to become increasingly important. So I will keep here talking about books, and I will keep producing author interviews and things like that on our social channels. So rest assured, we will keep you in bookish goodness. But until I speak to you again, take care.